Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Today we have a very special guest on the show.
We have return of Skeletor, Rhys McKee. Rhys, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm back on in quick succession, so I'm becoming a face of the show as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Special guest as always. You know what I mean?
I love it.
yeah. For people that don't know, we previously had Rhys on the show. So at the very end, actually, we'll link the video and you get to know everything about Rhys. You know what I mean? He's a great lad. Last night, UFC Fight Night was on, and there's a few things to discuss, lads. So we may as well kick it off. Anthony Smith losing to Glover Teixeira in the 5th round by TKO. Lads, what did you make of this fight? And also, there's stuff I really want to get into about what was said by Anthony Smith to his corner. But what you make of the fight, first of all?
I suppose I'll take away for start. One thing that was very prevalent in this fight was Anthony Smith looks like he was trying to get Glover out there very fast. I think the first round was all Smith. The first 2.5 minutes of the second round was all Smith. And then you just saw the takeover. Glover was so technically precise with his boxing. He picked shots to the body. He added in some kicks. He backed him up against the cage, puckered him up there, and then got some takedowns in. And he sort of just eventually broke Anthony Smith's will, which is not easy to do. And at the end of the day, the ref, sort of said enough was enough in the 5th round when Glover Teixeira got on top of him and just pummeled him.
Yeah, Rhys, like we all know, like fighter mentality is just they're all in, full stop. As you know yourself, Anthony Smith went to his corner and he said that his teeth were falling out or they're coming out. But has this ever sort of happened to you? If you said this to your corner, what would you expect them to do?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing to kind of recognize is like these are two guys who are at the absolute top. Like,
Yeah.
they're UFC main event, Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira. Like, I mean, you can't be surprised that that's kind of the mentality they have. Hence why they're there, and hence what their fight showed. But I mean, in terms of like when you are in that position or in a fight, like you, as cringy as it sounds, sometimes you have to be prepared to like come out the other end not the way you went in. I think if I went back to my corner and we found out that my front row of teeth were in my gum shield, that I wanted to still fight, I think they would trust my word at the time. I think it would be fine in a weird way.
One thing I have seen in not just this fight, but other fights going forward, or in the past, of like fighters who quite prevalent in the Tony Ferguson fight as well. Like Justin Gaethje was just piecing him up the entire time, and towards the 3rd and 4th round, Glover Teixeira was just piecing up Anthony Smith. Is there sort of a time where your cornerman should almost throw in the towel and you live to fight another day, or is UFC and MMA just one of those things where you can always throw that Hail Mary shot and got the job done, so you're in there to the last minute?
Yeah, like I mean, from a corner man or a coaching kind of point of view, you don't like to see it from your fighter. I think it's very much case by case scenario. Like if we're talking pros, young in their career, or amateurs, any amateur level really, maybe it's a time to pull the fight, or if sometimes you just know that the level isn't on par and the fight shouldn't be shouldn't be happening. I think when you're talking to elite guys though, this is guys' livelihood. You have to give the chance and allow the chance for, as you said, the one punch shot, as rare as it kind of is. I think it's case by case scenario.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, for people watching it, like obviously there was no crowd, so you could hear the corner. So like everything is more like amped up. Like like Chael Sonnen said after, it was an absolute disgrace because Anthony Smith was getting dominated the last 2 rounds. But like the question is, when is enough enough? Because like obviously yourself, like you're in there, as you said earlier, you're in there, and you're expecting to come out differently the other side. But like, should coaches not take it upon themselves to be like, here, look, you can come back and fight another day?
Yeah, and again, I know it's a boring answer, but I just think it's case by case. In that case, if I was Anthony Smith, I would want my coach to letting it go, to give me the chance. I think until a fighter like, you know, says himself like, or shows any indication of not wanting to be there, you have to let him fight. But I mean, an experienced coach who knows his fighter better than the fighter maybe knows himself will pull the fight. So it's really hard. It's a hard situation for coaches and fighters.
I suppose for every, Glover Anthony Smith, there's always like a Czech Congo Pat Barry. You know what I mean? Where someone comes back from the dead and like scores the knockout. Again, Rhys, you said it doesn't happen too often, but I suppose until that referee steps in there, there's always a chance that something could turn around. Even earlier on in the night, Michael Johnson was putting an absolute beat down on Thiago Moyes, or I'd never even seen the fella before.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, 25 seconds into the second round, he pulls a heel hook on him. You know what I mean? So these things like happen. And Anthony Smith, you've seen it before. Like I think it was the fourth round or fifth round, he got a rear naked choke in, I think, against Volkan Ozdemir before. So these things can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it is just finding that fine line of like, is he really going to pull something out, or is he just a punch bag?
Yeah. Sorry, it was actually against Gus, and he got that rear naked choke, which is very impressive.
You could have got all the people in the comments giving out, like, jeez. But just watching it, you're like, that felt like Anthony, like any fighter, you're like, if they keep going, they're going, Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Ross, like Glover Teixeira is now like, he's 40 odd, he's definitely out, like not in his prime. Beforehand, we both thought Anthony Smith would win. But where does Glover Teixeira go from here, Ross?
Glover's sort of back in the mix now. You know,
4-fight win streak.
Yeah, 4-fight win streak in the light heavyweight division. I don't think anyone's clamoring to see Glover Teixeira, John Jones 2 now. But who knows? Like, he could maybe fight Dominic Reyes. He could maybe fight Jan Blachowicz. These are sort of fights. I don't want to see if I heard Rumble's coming back to light heavyweight. I don't want to see Rumble versus Glover 2 either. He still hasn't found that tooth. But who knows? Rhys, do you have any preference to who you want to see Glover fight next?
As you said, it's weird. I think when people get to this kind of age, people kind of just write them off in their career. And the problem is Glover's winning. Like, that's a big win against Anthony Smith. I suppose a lot of it is, if he's winning fights, you have to give him the big fights, and so I would expect he'd want a fight right up there next. And exactly. How can you say?
Oh, I actually saw someone. I don't know who it was, but someone tweeted John Jones, been like, "John Jones, you're shit." What's called a 40-year-old man got Anthony Smith out there, and you couldn't do it in 5 rounds.
Well, this is it too, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and that is always the thing when you sort of beat someone more definitively than a champion does. I think that like bodes very well in your favor. And at the end of the day, Glover Teixeira went into that fight ranked number 8, and he just beat ranked number 4 quite decisively. So who knows who he's going to get next?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the tools set.
Yeah, there was a funny video that went out. The UFC posted when Glover Teixeira was on top of Anthony Smith. And like they were talking to each other, and then Anthony Smith's like, "It is what it is." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's like, "It's just business, bro. Boom, boom."
Like, what a sport! What a sport! Like, Rhys, have you ever been in the octagon chatting away with your opponent?
You know what? I was just kind of like thinking that there, and I was thinking no, but then I remember when me and Richie Smullen fought. I remember Paddy Houlihan corner, and he said, "Oh, Richie, he's given up." And so I like leaned up on an elbow and I said, "Who's giving up, Paddy?" And he goes, "You are." And I goes, "Flip, I'm not giving up." And I lay down again and just kind of kept working. But it was just a funny moment. And we've talked about it a few times since. But you're very aware in there. Like, people think we just go in and can't hear anything. But I knew it was Paddy shouting. I just perked up and shouted over to him. So that's my only really bar bits and pieces.
I think that's one thing that we've learned from UFC in an empty arena is that the other night Greg Hardy actually listened to what DC said and actually took that advice and implemented it into the fight. And then I can't remember who was saying last night, but they were saying the difference between the two corners between Glover and Smith. Like Glover's corner rows only give him advice, sporadically from time to time, and Anthony Smith's corner were non-stop verbally like telling him blah 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 blah, and you could actually hear it what's called in the arena, and they were saying that because he was getting so much instruction, it was probably making him use so much energy as well. It was making him even blow his gas tank even earlier. Do you think that happens if your corner's like constantly shouting at you? You're constantly looking to give them a response.
Yeah, that's like it's such a good outlook on it. Like I know for me, like if I've had a few cornermen fill in for when my normal corner team are away, and they've brought in a different style and just shout, and it's like again, like you just feel drained. Like it drains my energy. Like I'd rather be left with a piece. Give me 20-30 seconds update on it. You know, it doesn't need to be do this. Oh, don't do this, and that. You know, it's very drainy. So yeah, I would agree more with Glover's corner.
I'm actually really enjoying getting the fighters not getting their actual opinions on it. You know, Rhys, you're a legend. Also, in the co-main event, Ben Rothwell won by decision against Owen St. Preux. Ross, we thought OSP was going to win beforehand, the athlete, but he was out-athleted by Big Ben, your mate.
Yeah, Big Ben actually used his size really, really well in this fight. He sort of leaned him up against the cage, and you know he sort of peppered him a few shots, good in the clinch as well. Obviously he probably cut down from 265 for the fight, Big Ben, and he really did use his size, especially against someone who's used to fighting someone of a similar size. OSP weighed in, I think, 240, so he gave 25 pounds away. A few people are saying like that's way too small, but Stipe always weighs in about 240, and he's the champ, so you can't really be like that's not fair. OSP actually landed his best shot of the fight after the bell. He actually dropped Ben Rothwell after the bell in the third round. Not Paul Daly style now, it was in mid sequence, but I think OSP going up the weight class was actually too tentative, and he was afraid to exchange with Rothwell, because the last 20 seconds of the third round he actually exchanged with him and he had Rothwell rocked, so he probably needs to go a bit earlier. Rhys, I actually noticed that's the thing with some fighters as well, that they wait for the last 30 seconds and then they go for it, even though they've been losing for the last 2 rounds. What's your take on that? And when it's not going your way in the octagon, at what point do you need to be like, right, I need to change something?
Yeah, like I've been in situations, I guess, like 2.5 rounds down, and I've went for it the minute. But for me, if I'm 2 rounds down, I go for it the last round, not the last 30 seconds. The last 30 seconds, you're sloppy, and you might as well be fighting someone outside a bar. You know, like nothing's like, it's just desperation. So I think the last 30 seconds. I mean, obviously some things happen there, but no, you need to be ahead of the last 30 seconds. You know, you need to know you're losing before that.
Yeah. Then, lads, who would you like to see Big Ben take on next in the heavyweight division?
Well, he called out Ollie and Enoch, so he goes, yeah, us 2 older dudes, we can bang it out. So I was like, grand. I'm actually all for that fight. Yeah. Battle of the big baldies.
Yeah, they look exactly alike, don't they? Same chest hair and all. But another few honorable mentions here. Drew Dober won by TKO against Alexander Hernandez.
Great fight.
Yeah, Drew Dober trains with Justin Gaethje, so he has that fighting spirit in him, lads.
He definitely has to get sort of some of note going forward now. Because Alex Hernandez was number 15 in the rankings, and Drew Dober was unranked. Paul Felder's like a good call out and a big call out because he's ranked 6th.
Yeah,
that he actually might be able to get. But I'd actually love to see Drew Dober versus Aloy Quinta. You know that?
It's a fight. That's a good fight. Yeah, I like that one. I like that more than the Paul Felder fight. I think I'm not saying he wouldn't give Felder a run, but you know, I don't think the UFC would make it. I think they'll have planned Paul Felder before that fight.
Yeah, that is a better call, Ross.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you are here. Ricky Smone also came out with a win as well by decision against Ray Borg. Ray Borg's is losing run continues. Andrei Arlovsky came out with a win as well against Philip Lins. Philip Lins actually looks alright after moving up to heavyweight division, lads. And then
he does, yeah.
Yeah, and then Thiago Moises, Ross mentioned earlier, defeated Michael Johnson after the first round, getting absolutely battered. Came out with a heel hook and then stole the fight.
He's someone who might end up looking at free agency very soon. You know that, Michael Johnson. Whenever his fight's up, because I'm sure he's on half decent money at this stage, and he's not really cutting the cheese, and he's not really going to be a main event. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was end up in. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in the PFL. You know that.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Like you wouldn't even be that surprised in seeing him like the same as Benson Henderson or Miles Jury. Like he would fit right in Bellator. So we're cutting Michael Johnson's career here and there.
Yeah, I know. What's called probably from your point of view as a fighter, it probably sounds really harsh when you say that about people, does it?
No. You need listen. You need to be winning fights, and you need to be you need to be doing the job. Like and you know it's the same as me. Like if I'm ever to get to the UFC, then I need to be doing my job, which I'm lucky that I am. But if you're not doing it, like you shouldn't be there. 100%, totally agree.
It is slightly harsh, but he won the first round 10-8 in my opinion, you know. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like who has their arm raised is that's all people remember.
That's the thing. Exactly. They say that it only takes sort of 2 seconds lapse in concentration, and there you go. They have you out of there instead of you having them out of there.
Yeah, like look at Volkov against Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
Sorry for head, Rhys.
No, them leg locks change a fight in a heartbeat.
I do. Have you ever fought someone or have you ever grappled someone who's like a leg lock expert? And like, I'd say it's almost like standing and training with Ngannou. Like anytime they go for your legs, like your heart goes into your mouth. You're like, no.
Yeah. Well, at the time, again, going back to Richie Smullen. I haven't talked about this fight in years. I've talked about it twice.
He is a leg lock expert.
Yeah.
Oh, massive! Like I think he's at a brown belt, maybe all legs. Loves the leg locks. And I was in TriStar in Canada actually for the fight camp, and like I'd done privates with these leg lock guys, and I remember the first time he died from my legs, it was just like it's almost like that heart drop feeling where you're off, like here we go. So Baco, I mean, it was grand, but it is scary. It's like it's weird.
Yeah, I don't remember talking about when you were in TriStar, how many did you get to spar with GSP?
I didn't get to spar GSP, but I took this class every Monday. So I took eight of his classes. Just amazing, like totally surreal. Like just standing, kind of listen here and like single leg details from GSP, or you know, it's a bit bizarre. It's hard to even take in though because you're kind of who he is.
Yeah, you're at all, yeah.
He's my favorite fighter of all time as well. We went to New York to see him. We saw him beat Bisping over in New York. It was unbelievable. When you were there, did you get any training off John Danaher on the Death Squad? Because that's who he rolls with now.
No, I didn't. But a lot of the Death Squad were there, and like just the scariest bunch of people. Like so unassuming, but so nice. Like, and I actually rolled. I rolled Oliver Taza, and it was like just different gravy. Like I can't even describe what it's like. It's very like almost overwhelming.
I imagine so, because I always say like I've done a few jiu-jitsu classes, and like right,
you love Joan, is it?
No, but like I was rolling with some fella who was about 70 kilos, and like he rolled me up like a pretzel, and I just couldn't stop laughing. And he was like, "Why are you laughing?" And it was like, because you never know who you're like actually up against, and then like you know what I mean, you get left so vulnerable, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that's what it was like.
Yeah, but
these guys are the top.
Yeah, I remember there was like young kids and like what I would describe as like short, like just like kind of leisure wear shorts, and I was like, I remember thinking, because when you're in TriStar, like you're taking any decent roll you can get. Like if you can get a handier roll, you're going to take it. So I thought I was getting a nice roll, and then it just turned out that the guy forgot his shorts and again hammered me for 5 minutes.
Massive shout out to George St. Pierre as well, who got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ross, do you think he deserved it?
The GOAT. yeah, he definitely deserved it. 2-weight world champion, one of the longest winning streaks in UFC history, and like, you know what, the UFC landscape would have been so different without him, because there would have been so many great welterweight champions. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, John Fitch probably would have been champion, Thiago Alves would have been champion, Josh Koscheck would have been champion. You know, Matt Hughes probably would have had a long run as UFC champion, but like none of these got to wear the belts because of George St. Pierre.
It's crazy.
Madness. Also, lads, Omar Antonio Morales Ferrer won by decision, but if if you haven't seen the picture of his shin afterwards, it is absolutely disgusting. But because you can see right in there, Ross's good friend Beck Rollins tweeted vagina shin.
Yeah, look, it was serious toughness, but I suppose there's always that adrenaline factor that kicks in for some things, and I mean, a lot of fighters don't notice something. Or I remember seeing John Jones complete so many fights, and as soon as the fight's over, he's limping like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, do you remember his toe?
Yeah, against Chael Sonnen.
Yeah. Rhys, what's the biggest injury you've ever had in the octagon?
I broke my orbital, so like I broke like the orbital floor where your eye sits on. I broke that, but probably I actually didn't feel that bad after the fight. But when I fought Perry Goodwin, like that was the fight you were talking about, like where you just like you're fine and then all of a sudden you're limping. Like I remember I was getting pushed around the airport to go home in a wheelchair, so that would like kind of be the sorest fight, but not the worst injury.
Yeah. And who broke your orbital?
Tim Barnett. Our first fight, we had a fight and then we rematched.
What sort of looks do you get in the airport after when you're in the wheelchair?
Oh, 2 black eyes, swollen ears, and all this, and then people are just, they must think over in a stag do, and just like said something like you said, but like I would actually, I don't know if I'm still on a bit of adrenaline on the day after a fight, but like I'm not too best pleased when people like give you dirty looks and stuff like that, even on a good day, but not like especially after a fight.
Yeah,
they do.
Also, Brian Kelleher came out with the win against Hunter Azure, and then as I said earlier, Chase Sherman's back in the UFC would have been against Isaac Villanueva, who came in 6 days' notice and has some chin in him. But Chase Sherman's back, one of the funniest guys in the UFC.
Question for you, right? Do you think Chase Sherman will be the only person in UFC history that will go from UFC to bare knuckle boxing back to UFC?
That's a good shout.
Maybe Rumble Johnson. Maybe Rumble Johnson. Like I know he's involved with bare knuckles. So.
Yeah, but he didn't fight.
I know, yeah, but who knows? He might want to take on that Mike Tyson fight.
Who knows? Artem might come back for UFC Dublin.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that would be a great show. But lads, anything else to say about last night's card? Did we miss anything?
No, I actually think I enjoy the fights more in the empty arena because you can hear more stuff, if that makes sense. Except, obviously, you don't want to have an empty arena forever because you want them to come to Ireland and let the fans in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can't go, it can be empty.
It's you see, that's why the UFC goes to some states or some countries and you just hear the fans saying stupid shit. Like it takes away from the fight. You're like almost concentrating more on what the fans are saying. But like just having it and just like solely focused on nothing else bar the fans. I mean, bar the two fighters. It's actually good.
Rhys, what's the funniest thing that you've ever heard when you've been in the cage and you've been fighting and you heard a fan say?
Like, I don't know if I can swear here. Can I swear?
Oh yeah,
no, you fucking can't. No, you fucking can't.
I just like the X-rated, like when I was a bit younger and we used to fight in Belfast, you'll hear people saying like kick his fuck in and knock his ballocks in and like it's just so like you just want to like stop for a minute and say like what did you just say, like, and then my favorite this one happened at every show. I'm sure it happened to the UFC too. It's like people saying just get up when someone has you down. It's like, oh, just get up, like, oh flip, I forgot to get up, like.
Actually, why didn't I think of that?
Rhys, you shouldn't have forgotten to get up, man, like, or else they wouldn't have said that. But,
Barry, have you heard any funny ones?
Oh, like just the crowds in Dublin say mad shit, like it's hilarious. But,
I think one time I was watching an early prelim and I heard someone go, "Kick him in the dick."
Yeah,
yeah, I thought that was gas.
That was Rhys's corner. But Rhys, I always remember when you did fight in Dublin and you had the whole of the back, like the back of the arena, just like all supporting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
love fighting Dublin. Love it. I always bring great support, like always more support than I expect, and then I get there and it's like, flip, this is crazy, like. But I love Dublin, like really excited to fight there again.
Yeah, but you probably also have another like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people who are just like, oh, Rhys McKee's here, brilliant, was here for him too, because like you're well known in the Irish scene. You know what I mean? So, I think.
What would you do after a fight? Like having that many people there, where would you like arrange like an after party or?
You know what? Like anytime, like I've had quite a few fights now. Anytime we have arranged to go to a certain bar at a certain time, it never works. So now the plan is normally just go to like whatever hotel I'm in. Everybody goes there, have a drink, have a chat, whatever. But with all the after parties, like it's the last thing in your mind. Plus, I never want to get changed. I want to just wear shorts and sit down.
Yeah. Would you feel like quite drained after a fight? Like obviously you would, but like don't you have so many people then either saying well done or hard luck and just constantly taking even more energy from yourself?
It's just I wouldn't say like it's just such an adrenaline thing. Like it's like if you could live that day like constantly, like you would have a crazy life. Like I mean, nothing can kind of annoy you in that night. This is all after a win, of course. But nothing can annoy you. Like nothing really kind of matters. Do you know what I mean? It's just good times. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. What was the best night you've had fighting and like the after party when people have come up to you? What was if you relive one night?
Yeah, when I beat Tim Barnett in the rematch for the world title, like I remember walking into the hotel and like there must have been like 200 people there, and like they all started clapping and cheering, and it was like it was like a really overwhelming moment. Like do you know what I mean? You didn't even know what to say. It was kind of awkward, but like awkward for me, if that but it was amazing. So I remember it kind of gave me goosebumps, but it was a cool moment.
Yeah, vengeance is sweet.
Big time. It's dangerous too, though. You ever watch Kickboxer, the movie?
Yeah.
He says that revenge is a very powerful one, but very dangerous.
That's actually a great story, lads. This weekend the UFC is back. If we weren't we didn't have enough, we have more. This weekend it's on Saturday night. Alistair Overeem's taking on Walt Harris in the main event, heavyweight bout. Hopefully we get a knockout, lads. What are you expecting from these two big dudes?
This is actually going to be a very interesting one. Weirdly enough, I now have a soft spot for Walt Harris. These two were supposed to fight many months ago. I think it was in Washington, D.C. And Walt Harris's daughter-in-law went missing, and then she was actually later found dead. She was actually murdered. So this is his like return from that. Going into that fight, before all that happened, I was like, oh, hopefully we see some vintage Overeem. Well, now I think I'm almost like shouting for Walt Harris because like what a nice guy. In terms of the actual skills wise, Walt Harris going in there and he's looking for a knockout. He got big. He's a big guy with heavy shots. Obviously, Overeem's a lot more technical. He was very unlucky in his Rosenstrike fight because if that went on 30 seconds longer and he could have aided him, he would have won the fight by decision. So I think Overeem is probably going to get the nod.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Walt Harris in this. I think Walt, like as much as Overeem's the veteran and got all the experience, and as you said, probably the more polished skill set. I think Walt Harris is a bit younger. He's more of an athlete, and I think Overeem is past it compared to what we've seen like many years ago. So I'm going for Walt Harris, and maybe I have a soft spot for him too. But he's impressed me anytime I see him. So
I think I'd be happier if Walt Harris won, though. You know that I'd like go you.
Yeah,
it's better for the heavyweight division if Walt Harris wins. Just touch on what Ross said earlier. Obviously, with all that terrible stuff going on in Walt Harris's life in the background, that could like play a
go
factor
either way.
Yeah, it could play a factor in the back of his mind. So I'd almost say Overeem for the win, just because he doesn't have any problems that we know of going into this. But either way, I can feel the knockout there. In the co-main event, Claudia Gadelha is taking on Angela Hill in the women's strawweight division. Claudia Gadelha has been like up and down the last while, lads. What are you sort of expecting this weekend?
For me, I really like Claudia Gadelha to win this one by submission. Angela Hill's lost twice by submission. I think that's her only two losses, as far as I'm aware, of recent times. I know she had a few decision losses, but that's her only finishes. And Claudia Gadelha is like a submission wizard. So I think she'll actually be able to take her down, get the job done. Claudia Gadelha was the consensus number 2 best in the world for a very long time, and I don't think Angela Hill's ever really cracked that top 5.
What about you, Rhys?
Yeah, I think I have to kind of back up everything you said. I also think Claudia, like, she's a bit more aggressive. Not saying she's a nasty person, but she always seems a bit more up for it than a lot of girls she fights, and I think that might be a big difference against Angela, who's kind of like a bit more of a chill character. So, I think we can see Claudia again taking her down, beating her up, and subbing her.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, lads. Claudia Gadelha.
You have a bit of a soft spot for her, Baz, don't you?
Ross, why are you bringing that up on camera, man? Jeez. Right, lads, in the featherweight division, Dan Ige is taking on Edson Barboza. Barboza's dropping down to the featherweight division. Lads, what are you expecting from Barboza in this weight class?
I always thought Barboza was actually quite large at lightweight. I'm going to be very interested to see him cut down to featherweight. Now, I always thought Aldo was large enough for featherweight, and he made it down to bantamweight. So, like, these things are possible. Danny Ige's coming off a big win over Mirsad Bektic. I think it was a split decision, but he got the nod there. So, look, if Barboza from lightweight shows up down to featherweight, I expect Barboza to get the job done here. But those weight cuts are a nasty thing, so we'll see.
Who are you going with?
Barboza, man.
I can't believe Barbosa's going to this weight. Someone told me, I was actually talking about Barbosa yesterday, and someone said he's fighting this weekend at February, and I didn't believe them. Like, I thought he was massive for lightweight. Anytime I see, I'm like, flip, this is the weight group I maybe should be in, because look at the size of Barbosa. So the fact that he's been down, I think Barbosa's biggest problem is inconsistency. Like, even at lightweight, like, if he turns up, like, look how he turned up against Dan Hooker. Like, not many people have stopped that Barbosa, but on a bad day, not a bad day, but against like Justin Gaethje and all, like, I don't know, he's just hot or cold. So I don't know. I don't like picking against Barbosa, but I think I'm going to have to.
I'll just go with Barbosa, lads, to stir the pot.
I think if Barbosa can get those leg kicks going, he's next to unstoppable. But if he can nullify the leg kicks early on, I think that's like one of the biggest tools in the arsenal.
Yeah, I just like watching his kicks. That, like, I'm like, hopefully we get to see them, and therefore we'll see him win. Also in the middleweight division, Eric Anders is taking on Krzysztof Jotko. Eric Anders loves the bang. Excuse the pun, but what do you think for this, Roscoe?
As you said, Eric Anders has like been in multiple fight by the nights. His fight against Thiago Santos was something else. He was so hard to put away. Jotko was like been threatening to be so good for so long, and then he sort of slipped off when he fought Ranch Dressen and Uriah Hall. But I sort of like Jotko in this one. I think he's a bit more technical and he'll be able to get the job done. But Eric Anders will be game. I think a decision, but a fun decision.
How about you, Rhys?
Yeah, well, I always enjoy watching Eric Anders. I actually don't know much about Jotko. I've seen a few of his highlights and stuff, but I think Eric Anders, the ability to bang and the ability to be there, I think that'll be enough. I'm going to have to go with Anders.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Anders as well. As Rhys said, his ability to bang. Then, lads, the card's kicking off with Song Yadong against Marlon Vera. Ross, what should we expect here?
Look, they're actually both coming in. Well, Vera has a good win streak. I think he's got 4 or 5 fight win streak. And then Yadong had won like 6 or 7 in a row. And then Drew with Cody Statman. I actually like Sedong, or whatever way you say it. Yeah, I actually have been really impressed with him over his last couple of fights. I always sort of looked at the Asian fighters and went, there hasn't been like a Chinese male fighter who's like sort of stood out in a very long time. So I think he could be the one to put China on the map for men's MMA.
Yeah. Rhys, you have any picks here?
I think Yadong's he's fresh. I think he's a great fighter to watch. He's exciting. Marlon Vera is good too. He's experienced. They both actually have a very close record. But as we know, records don't play much. But I think I'm going to go Song Yadong in this one too. But it's a fun, hilarious name.
It is, isn't it? Song Yadong, like, what a legend. It was when he knocked out that Brazilian fella. I think it was Pantoja. And I was like, he looks very good.
Yeah. But I thought Pantoja was class. He was in the Ultimate Fighter as well. Also fought Neil Seary. Right, lads. The headliner in the prelim is Matt Brown against Miguel Beza. The immortal Matt Brown is back, Ross.
Yeah, Matt Brown is an absolute legend. As you sort of said earlier, Reese, like it could be you sort of have to go into a fight maybe willing to not lead the exact same. I really believe Matt Brown when he's like unwilling to die in there, and that's exactly what the fight style pays. As long as Matt Brown does not get hit in the liver, he's one of the best fighters going welterweight, and I expect him to win here because I don't know who his opponent is.
Yeah. What about you, Reese?
Yeah, anybody with the nickname Immortal, you know he's there. He's there for one thing and one thing only. I love his elbows. I love to see his elbows. Similar opinion. I don't know much, if anything, about his opponent. But Matt Brown's an absolute veteran, and you know it's hard to pick against him against some of the best in the world. So yeah, I'm going with Matt Brown.
Yeah, I'll go with Matt Brown as well. Also, an interesting fight as well. Anthony Hernandez taking on Kevin Holland. Ross, what should we expect?
Yeah. Look, I like Kevin Holland. You know what? It'd be great to see him fight in an empty arena because he likes to talk. So it'd be interesting to see if he's flapping his gums. I'm pretty sure he was a Contender Series guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he looked very interesting. I think he's took a few fights on short notice that haven't gone his way, but I want to see him win because he's entertaining.
Good stuff.
And then also, don't forget the damage is there as well, man. Later on.
Yeah, don't worry, man. I have him here. Reese, you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I'm always a fan of the Contender guys. I always like watching them. I don't know much about either of these guys, so I'm going to go with the same result.
All right. Mike Davis taking on Giga Chikadze. Ross, anything to say in the featherweight division?
No, I sort of just want to talk about Darren Elkins, man.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Darren Elkins is taking on Nate Landwehr in the featherweight division. The damage is black, Ross.
I can't believe Darren Elkins is like the second fight of the card, and I can't believe they're having him fight an absolute. No, well, a nobody now. Everyone's a nobody until there's somebody, I suppose. Really, yeah. You know what I mean? But like his last three fights were Ryan Hall, Ricardo Lamas, and Alexander Volkanovski. Like the damage is in there, and he's like fought the best of the best.
Didn't he fight Jason Knight as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he fought Jason Knight. I'm pretty sure he's also fought Chad Mendez at some stage. Fought Hakran Diaz, Bektic, Michael Johnson, Dennis Bermudez, and he's beaten some of them as well. He beat Dennis Bermudez, Michael Johnson, and Mirsad Bektic in one of the greatest comebacks in UFC history. I just like to see him fight someone who's really good, and then like might surprise you with the win.
Yeah. Also, I think we're all going for Darren Elkins there. Courtney Casey's also on the card against Mario Romero Borella in the flyweight division. The whole card is being kicked off in the heavyweight division. Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira is taking on Dontel Mayes. Lads,
interesting.
Yeah, lads, this all goes down Saturday night. Like it's great to have MMA back. Rhys, you did mention something about the Contender Series. What do you sort of make of the Contender Series? And like, obviously you want to get straight in, but to the UFC. But like, say if you got a phone call for the Contender Series, would that be anything you'd be interested in?
Yeah, 100%. Likewise with Ultimate Fighter, like I love that approach. I actually heard they're coming back because there was a rumor they were finished. I'm up for whatever I need to get in, if it's Contender, Ultimate Fighter, or winning the Cage Warriors World Title, or just being called up for one of these mad empty arena shows. I'm up for whatever. So I'm a company man until I've earned my stripes. So I'm up for whatever.
Yeah, because we had Sean O'Malley on the show, and he obviously was on the first season of the Contender Series, and then after that, he blew up. So, like, I mean, if you got a massive win on the Contender Series, you could actually skip up a load of people who were actually on the card and maybe even there for a few years, which is a crazy thing about MMA. But MMA is a game where, like, what have you done for me recently, Ross, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. You know what I mean? You have to be in the octagon to be relevant, and very few fighters can stay relevant outside the octagon. I do think it's a sort of, it's almost the easiest way into the UFC now is by getting on the Contender Series and pressing. Now, I don't know how easy it is to get on the Contender Series, but it's almost like, do you ever see America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent? You go out and do the audition, open auditions. It's like, right, well, you're talented. We'll have you. You know what I mean? That's what it's like for the Contender Series. Look, it's had some great people on it, and it's a great platform to go on. The Ultimate Fighter, I always think probably because the TV ratings have gone down on it. It's obviously less watched now. But I think if you're almost young, free, and single, the Ultimate Fighter is actually incredible to go on because, like, you get put in a house, all you do is eat, sleep, and train, and like that's like absolutely ideal for some people, and you know you're paid to do it as it goes along. I think what's hard for some people is when they have a family and then they're leaving their wife and their kids, and they go into the Ultimate Fighter household that way. But if you're young, free, and single, like I think the Ultimate Fighter is great.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah, like, but then there's cases of like the Contender. The reason I'm not a fan of the Contender series is because it's very much not like if you win you're in. It's like, you know, you have to, like, I love and hate this. You know, people are going there, if you win you're in. But look at Brendan Loughnane, and like he won, he dominated his fight. He maybe made a weird decision at the end. He shot for a takedown to play it safe, and he in the UFC when he's absolutely a UFC caliber fighter. Like, but then this is, as we talked about earlier, like you have to be providing the goods, not just the wins, like finishes and high quality. So I'm talking like I'm already there, but
well, you have to like you have to see it to believe it. But like also, yeah, as you brought up there, Brendan Loughnane, but also Austin Vanderford, Ross, our mate, he actually won quite convincingly as well on the Contender Series. He's married to Paige Van Sant. Like, I mean, it just made perfect sense, and they didn't pick him on purpose. I think that's because Paige was holding out on a contract.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like, the UFC are fairly cutthroat, and they'll do whatever it takes to sort of, you know, get it over the line with you. You know what I mean? Like, if they'll use your family and friends against you. You know what I mean? That's the way they do it. But yeah, I agree with you. Winning your in not being, you know, a definite factor isn't overly ideal. But I suppose one way or another, you get seen by a lot of people on TV. It's great to get your name out there.
Yeah, and Brendan Loughnane obviously went to the PFL then, didn't he? Got a big contract there. Yeah, so who knows? Who knows? And also, if you keep winning, you know what's going to happen then. But
yeah, although the only other thing is that a bit like what Dana White did with Greg Hardy as well, that they might go, well done, you drew excellent ratings. Not too sure on you yet, though. You're going to have to fight in the Contender Series again.
Yeah.
And I don't know what way they pay for the Contender Series. Well, I don't know how much money you make off it.
Probably nothing. Probably very, very little.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't imagine it's loads, but I wonder is it. I wouldn't be surprised if Dana White was like, if you get the finish, you get extra.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. I would say it's fueled on, like, if you knock him out, I'll give you $50,000. If you win and don't knock him out, I'll give you $500.
That's the thing. The Contender Series is coming back soon as well. That's going to be great. Yeah. That's going to be great to see.
But do you think also the Contender Series makes people fight differently? As in, like, you might be like an excellent, you know, wrestler, and then like you have decent stand up and decent jits, and like you're a hot prospect, but you're like, fuck, better go in here and bang, otherwise like I don't have a chance. And then you actually like don't use your actual game plan.
Yeah, I think this is where, you know, I mean, if I was a wrestler and grappler oriented, I mean, I would be sticking to my game plan. I'd be winning first and foremost. Luckily, I like to strike and bang, so to speak. So,
word of the day.
Word of the day. But no, I think fighters should always go in and stick to their thing, you know. And again, unless we're in that situation where you're losing 2 rounds, then you gotta let them go.
Yeah. Julian Lane somewhere is sitting at home with his, I don't know, whether he has wife or kids and dog, and he still asks people to let him bang, bro.
Yeah. I think they're not boxing.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, so someone is letting him bang.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. Not just his wife. But lads, anything else to say about this weekend?
No, just thank God for UFC showing a bit of sport. I think the Bundesliga is back this weekend. Can't wait to get my later-hosed on and have a few steins. Do you watch football, Rhys?
Not really, no. Like, I mean, I what I do look at it at the minute is I'm hoping if all football's back on, then it's a good sign for the rest of professional sports like Cage Warriors and stuff like that. So I'm all for bringing back the football as long as it brings back other sports.
Yeah. Oh, lads, I have two things to bring up before the end of the show. First of all, did you see Mike Tyson sparring, and what you make of that?
Go ahead, Rhys. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you make of his boxing, Rhys?
I mean, it's Mike Tyson, so it always looks amazing, doesn't it? But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm a big believer. I'm like, put him in there with Joshua, quick.
Yeah, imagine the ratings that thing would do.
Oh my god.
Oh, stop. And you know what? Like, I think Mike Tyson will give anyone a go for 2 rounds. After that, maybe not. But like, for 2 rounds, that man is still going to be a fearsome competitor.
Yeah, probably because everybody's so scared of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
But like that fast twitch muscle is like something else in him, isn't it?
Insane.
Jesus. Imagine like trying to go out with his daughter. Ding dong. But another thing, lads, as well, it came out that Khabib's dad is sick, and then the UFC were saying like hopefully he gets well soon, and then Conor McGregor came out saying like he brushed everything aside that he has with Khabib and said that like hopefully his dad gets well soon. Isn't it great how like things can be just brushed aside and you can just actually like you can raise an olive branch? Is that the same?
Extend an olive branch.
Extend the olive branch.
I think Conor McGregor is what he is. I think he's a man with a father. He's a father now himself. He's got a son. I think he realizes that there's more to it than a beef. Especially like the way he slagged his dad at the press conference and stuff. I think it was very important that he issued that type of statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just hope his dad gets well soon, because like I'm pretty sure like Khabib still lives with his dad in Russia. That's the type of like guy he is. He's all about the family, and like he always views his dad as his head coach, and then like Javier Hernandez or Mendez is his sort of side coach, side head coach. But his dad never gets into USA, so obviously there's visa issues there. But hopefully he is well, and I'd love to see UFC Russia with Khabib as a headliner. I'd just love to see what way the crowd is when it's all coronavirus is over.
Everyone wearing the Khabib hat and the crowd.
Yeah.
It's like it'd be like, "Where's Wally?"
Yeah.
But the opposite to "Where's Wally" actually. But Rhys, thanks a million for coming on the show. I really enjoyed this. We're gonna have to do it again. For Ross, anything else to say before we wrap it up?
No, again, Rhys, thanks for coming on. Be interesting to see how you do on the picks. Ian Gary was the pick king last time round, so let's see if Rhys, you're going to be the pick king this time out.
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident in what I've chosen.
Come on. Okay, so Rhys, thanks again for coming on the show. Make sure to comment and let us know who you're backing to win this weekend. And as always,
subscribe and stay energized.
Stay energized.